evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Inside Artesian Football here on WREP 15 Sports and the MHS Rewind YouTube channel. I'm Eric Meyer, joined as always by Artesian head coach Carter Whitson. Coach, we've been off for a couple weeks, had a chance to enjoy, I guess, fall break just a little bit, have a little bit of time off.
Yeah, to a certain extent. We practiced in the morning and had some time off in the afternoons. But like I always say, if you're going to be a football player, you really don't get fall break. The schedule of it changed, but we had to practice every day to prepare for a Friday night game, which was a little different than the 2 years previously, because the fall break fell on when we opened up sectionals and we had a bye the last 2 years. So this was the first year our kids had to practice and play on a fall break. So we went through the week and adjusted the times, and kids are fine with doing that, so it was all good.
Couple of games since we last talked, a couple of tough games in mid-state conference play. Mooresville and Plainfield, we'll go back to the Mooresville game. That was a game that was going to be tough no matter what with the injuries, but also then the weather on top of that. Kind of a miserable atmosphere out there to be able to play in on a Friday night.
Well, you add on the most important thing, and that's that Mooresville's really good.
Right.
Mooresville's good, and they played hard and they played well. The weather doesn't help us with what we were going to do, and it helps them with what they were going to do, but that doesn't, that wasn't the effect of the school board. They're a really good football team. We got some things that obviously we're still growing and learning and trying to get better at. So it was not a fun night, but we knew after playing those guys we were going to find out the sectional draw 2 days later. Right. And I told the guys, we're going to get these guys in the first round. We're going to get them in the first round, so let's go get better over the next 2 weeks, and let's get ready to go on a playoff run. So we don't get them in the first round. If we see them, we'll see them in the second round. But that was kind of the thought process. Week 8 wasn't fun. Week 9 was a building process and introducing some new things and getting ready for a playoff run.
We'll get to the playoff run here in a second. Before we get there, we want to take a look at some of the highlights from both the contests that the Artesians have played since we've last been on. So let's go to the Mooresville game. It'll pick it up right here. This is the first play from scrimmage from Mooresville, and you guys
this was awesome,
well,
man.
Yeah.
The excitement on the sidelines and in the stands, creating a turnover was unbelievable. And then we go down and take care of business on offense. So we didn't get the onside kick, but we get the turnover on the first play. And then we go down and drive. We have a little bit of run game that's working right there with Tyler Cox. And then, and then we just kind of plug it in throughout it was actually a longer drive than it should have been. Finish it out with a little slant bubble right here to Andy Myers. Andy continues to have a great year, finding the end zone, and Xavier hit him there. It was good to have Xavier back. Week 8, he's back healthy now. Here we go back to our onside kick, where we go down and just try and create some chaos. We've been working our onside kicks because our kickoff coverage unit hasn't been extremely dynamic, so we wanted to be aggressive and try and get some kicks back. So we got that stuff. And Mooresville went down and scored because we didn't convert after we got the onside kick. We had a chance to go up big on these guys to start out early, and we didn't finish the job there. Mooresville goes down and scores, and then the little botched extra point right there. And this is kind of the rest of the game. You can kind of see our defense trying to fight. There's no give up in these kids. And, everything that I was told after this game and even Plainfield game is, 3 years ago, those kids would have quit when they got down like that. And my kids keep fighting, and they have some resiliency, and they never feel like they're out of it. We feel like if we can get on a roll offensively, we can come back and beat anybody. Defensively, we just got to get some more stops. I think they threw the ball one time on us because they're big, and they, added an extra O lineman to start playing tight end, and really just kind of ran it down our throats the entire game. So wasn't real fun, but it was one of those things that we can fix it and continue to work to get better at by the time we do see him again. Deep shot right there to Andy Myers on a go ball. Andy's double teamed, but we called that play, seeing that he was double teamed, and I still thought he could make the play. And so did Xavier. Xavier has extreme amount of trust in Andy, and that was a big-time touchdown right there to try and get us back in it. We got it down to 2 possessions a handful of times and then couldn't finish. And then, we just didn't get any more stops defensively, probably not a whole lot more defensive highlights on this film. It's tough to come back all the way. You got to be perfect on offense whenever defensively it's not working. Tyrus Martin got in the game a little bit late. Had a great game the week before, so it wasn't like we benched Xavier, and it wasn't like Tyrus needed the rest. It was just, it's good to get a good quarterback in the game and continue to build up his experience. So Tyrus came in, and we actually had some other guys get some important reps and valuable time on the playing field offensively, there we go defensively. Again, we're getting some stops. We're there. We're making these plays. We have the ability to. We have to be more consistent with it. We have to be more aggressive. And like I said, we have a plan. We have some different things that we're going to do to stop these guys, because we can't go into with the same attack that we had last time. It was senior night, so you got some seniors on the field making some plays right there. That was Dylan Guy, which was always good to see. On the offensive side of the ball right here, you got Dalton DeStefano and Michael Betts, kids that earned some playing time. Tyler Adkins comes in as a freshman and drives us down and gets a good long drive with some completions and good run game, and Riddick Bolton finishes. So we had a mix of older guys and mix of younger guys finish the game, and it's good to see the future, and it's good to give those guys credit and the opportunity to play in front, in the Friday Night Lights like they've earned over the last few years.
Yeah, that's what you talked about. It gave you an opportunity to get some of those kids on the senior night to get into the contest, and then some of those younger kids as well were able to get into the contest, to get their feet wet. Who knows what's going to happen every game, especially with the unluckiness that we've had all season. They may be called on to contribute on a Friday night coming up, and to get them some reps is obviously helpful.
Yeah, and those kids, there's some guys that have really bright futures ahead of them. You can tell the freshman quarterback comes in the game because he had different decals on his helmet, because we hadn't switched those guys up all year. But you can tell when he's in the game,
he's got a little
swag to him.
Yeah.
Sometimes he's got to temper it down a little bit. And he'll get served a slice of humble pie once he's a varsity football player next year. But he's got a really bright future. Riddick running the ball, ran well in JV all year, playing linebacker and running back. So to get him some Friday night reps was good. And Caden Townsend had a big catch, another sophomore that's not playing a whole lot on varsity, but to get those guys and see that they can do it and give themselves some confidence is a good growing phase.
So you had the game on that Friday against Mooresville. You had the week of practice, and a little bit of an odd week in terms of the fact that it was the fall break, and you get back at it. And then you got the Plainfield game on a Friday night, and this is a Plainfield ball club that has been getting better and better. They're finally starting to do some of the things that he always likes to do, which is run the football. And they've got a lot of guys that can run it. They got a quarterback that can run it. They're big. They had everything really on display on Friday night.
Yeah, they're a lot better football team than their record shows. I think they had Decatur beat. They absolutely had Decatur beat. Had a freshman make one bad mistake. That freshman kept him in that game too. He made some really good plays, but that was a really good football team that we saw Friday night. We knew they were going to be good. We knew they were going to be big. They were going to run it at us because they saw what Mooresville did, but we also have to get better at the pass defense too, because their offensive coordinator does want to have a good mix. He's got two quarterbacks that can both play. He's got three running backs that can all run it really well. He's got some wide receivers, and they're just massive up front like they always have been. So to see that they were 4-4 is not really what we thought they were. We thought they were probably closer to a 6-2 team. It wouldn't shock me if they went into the playoffs and made a little run in their sectional, even though it's tough. That's just a good football team, good, solid, everything they do, they're pretty good at.
This was a team game, too, similar to the Mooresville game that was kind of within a couple of scores here and there, just couldn't quite get off the field when you needed to and get a stop to be able to get any closer.
Yeah, and that's what we talk about. You want to get those stops, and sometimes you don't. And when you don't, you lose all your momentum on offense. And if you don't completely have a perfect drive on offense with how we do things, with how we spread it around, it makes it tough. So, again, things that we're all trying to build together through the three phases of special teams and offense and defense, trying to get those better. Obviously, you can see special teams is better. Andy's had 2 touchdown returns on kickoff return the last 2 weeks. One of them was called back, which was a huge play. That's a game-changing play if they don't throw that kind of a touchy flag on a kickoff return. That's a different ball game that you're playing against Mooresville. And then for him to return one against Plainfield was awesome. Our kickers are doing well. It'll be good to have Ethan back this week. He was on fall break because he didn't know he was going to play football till about week 4. So family had a vacation, but he'll be back to kick off for us again this week, which is nice to have. Jackson's doing a great job, extra points and field goals. So trying to build it all, trying to put it all together. Plainfield had it all together, and we were building to get it together by week 10.
Let's take a look at some of the highlights from the contest against the Plainfield Quakers on Friday night, and we'll start on the offense. Martinsville down 7-0, but getting a drive put together.
Plainfield starts out with a really good first possession, quick possession, big long touchdown, which we got to eliminate. But we're backed up because of some penalties, which has been happening way too often with our offense. We get stupid penalties, but there's the ball to Craig Wesner right there on a little boot play action. We got a really good package built up and an 11 personnel with one tight end on the field with Jonas Stillman, and Jonas kind of gets a little shoulder injury on the first play of the game, and it kind of changes our entire game plan for the rest of the night. We went to a 10 personnel package, and then these guys kind of loaded up the box and blitzed us a little bit, so it was kind of unfortunate. Injuries do happen, but we planned on having a tight end that was a pass catcher throughout the game and didn't really have him. There's Matt Thomas right there. Matt had a good start to the game. Obviously Xavier's been throwing the ball really well to Andy and making those plays. Andy's been getting in the end zone, but Matt Thomas on the other side keeps people from being able to double team just one of them. Having both those guys be successful and getting a rhythm early in the game is really good. So we go down, score, pretty good drive, fought through some adversity with some penalties and stuff, and decided to go for 2 just to be aggressive. Don't call a great play right here, but the kids make me look like a good offensive coordinator by Tyler Cox, just making a guy miss one-on-one. So those are always the best plays. Whenever you call something stupid and your kids go out and make great plays, it makes it a lot easier on the offensive coordinator. So good stuff there. Here we go defensively. Bo has continued to get better and better and better each week. Bo starts out the year as a JV outside linebacker and is now, your starting Mike linebacker. He's playing really well. His celebrations are awful, apparently. I didn't see that one, but we need some more celebrations because we've got some more stops. That's what we maybe need to work on a little bit more than celebrations. But Bo's been playing well. Ethan Potteroff, to have him back was really good. Again, with your 2 interior linebackers that were both not the starters at the beginning of the year, continuing to get more comfortable. That's good to see. Here's Xavier making a play. Xavier hasn't run the ball a whole lot this season, and that was a design, and that was a purpose for him to not take some unnecessary hits. He's a kid that has good feet and can make some plays with his feet, and you'll see that more and more in the future. So that that's not a big surprise for me to see him running down the field and making some plays. Defensively, there we go. Jackson Kleesner, great pursuit, great effort. Jackson's never coming off the field. Isaac Whitaker's playing both ways. Andy Myers is playing both ways. Nigel Bryant's playing both ways. We got guys that are fighting and continuing to play hard and having fun at the same time. We just need to get some wins and results to make it a really fun season. Quick shot right there to Andy. Again, Xavier's getting the ball out on time, doing a good job up front with giving him protection and also mix and matching it where we don't have to protect too much, throwing it quick. There's a play right there. Could have been a loss for 2. Again, we gotta finish those plays right there with Bo Hess, but it's good to see the other guys chase down, pursue, and then this is what we need more of. The first play against Mooresville, you get a turnover. You get a stop down here on the 1-yard line. Those are always good. We're backed up kind of before the half, so it's not real great field position for us, but just to get a stop is always encouraging. We did some things. We got pinned down there twice on the 1-yard line and need to build up that package a little bit better. Because that wasn't really exciting to get a safety on a stupid play call. But there you go, a screen right there. Tyler Cox, 83 can flat out run because very few people out there can chase down Tyler Cox. Tyler's playing almost every snap at tailback, so he might have been a little winded. This right here was maybe the most impressive catch I've ever seen in person with Craig Wesner going up high. Craig's all of 5'6". He catches that ball like he's 6'5" and gets a toe in the ground. And then we go quick right here with Billy Bias getting the ball in a playmaker's hands. He's played some more slot receiver for us over the last 2 weeks, and you'll continue to see him on both sides of the ball. A senior that is not happy with the results we've had, but is excited about the next few weeks of really putting in a package for him. Jackson Fry again right there with the extra point. Jackson's been perfect on his extra points, knock on wood, and he continues to get better and better. And then here's a kickoff return. I was astonished that they kept kicking the ball to Andy. They're a really well-coached team. I think they were trying to probably just test their kids and see if they could get better for a playoff run because I know they're going to kick off to some good kickoff returners this week against Decatur. But in the same way, I always like when the ball's in 31's hands, so I was pretty pleased with them kicking to him. Tyler on a big run again. Tried to get our run game established a little bit. That was maybe the best hit of the night for the Artesians, taking down that ref. He was okay, which is good. It's always dangerous. You don't want those guys to get hurt. We need more good refs out there, so we don't want to ever hurt them. But, you know, right there, you get good plays, you get momentum, you make some shots like this, and you finish, and you get in the end zone. We just need more of it. We need more consistency. Right there, you go for 2, and all of a sudden it's a 2-possession game again, and we just need to get some stops, and we need to make that stuff happen a little bit more. But you get it close, and then you give up a touchdown, and then you fight back and get it close, and you give up a touchdown. So there are some things that we got to put it all together, all 3 phases, which you've seen the glimpses of all 3 phases really, you know, being potentially a really, really good football team. Just waiting to see when it's going to happen, and I'm hoping it happens this week.
This week coming up, it's a little bit different. You've been moved to Class 4A, dropped down in class. Now there are 8 teams in your sectional, so there wasn't a possibility to get a bye like you'd had a possibility of in the past. So you're going to have to win 3 games to come out with the sectional championship. It'll start against an opponent that is not familiar to you guys. You don't play them, I don't think we've ever played them in football. I'm not sure that we've ever played them in anything outside of maybe girls basketball or volleyball.
Right.
And it's Jennings County. It's the Panthers. It's a team that will come in with the identical record to you guys. There are a few common opponents. You guys have looked at it. We've looked at it. The Bedford team the Bedford game is what it points to, and people can look at themselves and see the results for both teams there. But regardless of that, like you said, it's 0-0 for all the teams coming in. They've got guys that can make plays. You guys got guys that can make plays, and it's going to come down to execution on Friday night. Yeah,
absolutely. We looked at the scoreboard right after the game at Plainfield on Friday night. We looked up there, and they already had it turned off, and I said, that's because none of that matters. Nothing that has happened matters one bit. It goes on my permanent record as a head coaching wins and losses, but the rest of it doesn't matter. You go on a playoff run in the state of Indiana, you can go 0-9 and win a state championship, or you can go 9-0 and win a state championship. So, you know, that's what we're moving forward. Jennings County is the same way. You know, we're both 3-6. I feel really strong about how talented and how you know, good our conference is. You know, our strength of schedule is tough. It's not an excuse to be 3-6, but when you're playing a bunch of really good football teams and you're not playing well, you know, things get magnified and you lose some games. So the fact that we've seen as good as we're going to see throughout the playoffs, you know, with Mooresville and Decatur and Whitland, you know, we're not going to see anybody better than those guys throughout the playoffs. So you see that we can do some things versus those guys. We've got to put it all together. And, you know, it starts this week. We need to get some momentum at home, a little redemption for our seniors to play their last game at home. So far, you know, we'll see where the next few playoff games draw out. But we know we get this one at home, and it's good for them to hopefully get a good win to close out their careers here.
When we talk about the Jennings County Panthers and you look at some of their stats, they've got a quarterback that's got about 2,400 yards, total offense, about 2,000 through the air, about 400 on the ground. What are they going to like to do, what you have seen on film that they like to do on the offensive side of the ball, obviously utilizing him?
Yeah, quarterback's a good player, senior. He's a kid that plays the true Ironman football. He never comes off the field. He actually plays linebacker as a quarterback. So, you know, kind of reminds you a little bit of Griffey last year. Bigger kid, good runner, throws the ball well. You know, he's got 2,000 yards throwing the ball, and most of it's to number 81. But, you know, they do some good things offensively. You can see them scheme up, and their offense changes week by week in a positive way to who they're playing and what that defense is going to play. So you can tell they're well coached. You can tell they know what they're doing. Quarterback's a good player. It all goes through him. He's going to run it a little bit more later in the season than he was early. So, you know, we got to be able to stop the quarterback run game along with tailback run game. And big thing is we got to find 81 and make sure we stop him.
How difficult does that make it for you guys game planning on what you want to do when you see a team that maybe adapts a little bit to what they're going to do? Or can you see, hey, when they had this team playing this, they did this, so we know that if we're going to do this, they're going to do that. How does that have an impact on
it does, and then, you know, we always say they get paid to coach there too.
Right.
You know, they get to game plan, and they get to practice, and they get to scheme. So, you know, I always like it when I see that. Just because it shows guys care and they want to do some extra stuff and they want to work harder as a staff. So that's always good to see. But you're exactly right. You know, versus cover 3, here's what they want to throw. Versus cover 2, here's what they want to throw. Versus 0 blitz, here's what they want to do. So you see those things to get some tendencies and vice versa. They want to call plays to beat those types of defenses. So, you know, with what we do, what we've shown, what we're going to do, we're going to have some good mix-up of trying to keep them guessing moving forward with some different packages and not just playing base standard football, which we have the past few weeks, knowing that we were trying to get ready for the playoffs. So hopefully we'll have some good mix and be able to stop the run and be able to stop the pass Friday night.
When you look at them on the other side of the football, what they will try to do against you, what are they going to line up in? What do you expect out of them defensively on Friday night?
Yeah, they'll be in an odd front. Pretty much everybody we're going to see for the rest of my career here is going to be in an odd front right now because, it's the new trend in high school football, and people are having success against us doing that. So they'll be at a three-man front, kind of a 3-3 stack with also 2 outside linebackers walk down to where it almost looks like they have 5 linebackers. That's where their quarterback plays one of those. And then they've got 2 corners that play kind of a dividers, cover 2, cover 3-ish, with a middle safety that's pretty aggressive, likes to get down and play in the run game too. So, they'll have to adjust. We throw it around quite a bit more than almost everybody they see besides Floyd Central. So, we'll see what they adjust to do versus our offense. And they'll have to adjust and because they're in a similar situation with us when they were playing Floyd. They're probably not trying to show anything crazy. Floyd threw it around on them pretty good, but they won't come in and do that exact same defense that they did there. So we'll see. They'll adjust towards us like they have. People will double team Matt and Andy when they can. The other guys got to make plays, and we got to get the run game going.
When you guys are preparing for the games, it's been a little bit easier. You aren't physically exchanging tapes like you used to have to go meet wherever you would have met down in Cincinnati, maybe at one of the casinos or something down there to exchange tapes. But now you do it on Huddle. How many game tapes are you guys exchanging now, and how often are you guys? How much do you get to see of them coming into the game?
Yeah, no, it's the Huddle deal, the monopoly that Huddle has built in high school sports really benefits us. Yeah. I don't have to send Coach Fawcett all the way down to Cincinnati, early Saturday morning or late Friday night to go get some film. And I just, I reached out to their head coach, Coach Sharp, and I said, hey, what are you willing to trade? I'm willing to trade everything because I'm used to that in college. You're used to having every view, back end zone, side.
Right.
You're just used to having it. That's what I'm used to having. There's no secrets anymore. And he felt the same way. He said, let's just send it all. We're going to get it from other coaches. If you don't, just send it all. So it's kind of an agreement that I think should be all throughout high school. Our conference has done that this year to have a conference pool to where you can watch every game instead of just who they saw the previous 2 weeks, which was something we did because of the schedule in our conference. We kept following up Whiteland. All we got was Whiteland film, and we never saw any Mooresville film. Right. Well, Mooresville was following us up, and they were getting all of our film. So there's some things that we've started to do as a conference, which has been good and proactive, and a lot of other conferences are calling and reaching out to us and ask about how we do that. And I don't know if Jennings County is like that with their conference, but their coach has that same mindset of getting the film out there and letting kids play and not trying to do anything kind of sideways.
Right. So no secrets really coming in on a Friday night. A lot of preparation. You guys excited, ready to go?
Yeah, we're ready to go. We've had a really good week. Kids are bought in. Kids have never been not bought in. We lack a little confidence with who we're playing against, but we don't lack confidence in who we are, and kids keep getting better. We keep getting healthier. We got a chance to go on a playoff run, and that's all we ever talk about. We don't ever talk about, going 7-2 or going 6-3. We talk about winning a state championship, and that's all it's about right now.
Starts on Friday night as well. Yep. Coach, we appreciate it. We'll see you there Friday.
Thanks.
It's Artesian head coach Carter Whitson here inside Artesian football. Martinsville opens up sectional play for the first time in Class 4A. They will battle a first-time opponent as well. Somebody can maybe fact-check me on that as well. It's Jennings County. I don't know that we've ever played them. I've been doing this for a long time, so I don't remember it. But it'll be the Panthers coming to town. Martinsville and the Panthers 3-6. Should be a great atmosphere. Get out there on Friday night. Support the Artesians as they begin their trek toward a state championship on Friday at Cider-Witts Field. As always, I'd like to thank the head coach for coming in. For Carter Whitson, along with Zane Spangler, who produced it, I'm Eric Meyer. We'll see you again next time inside Artesian football.